Hey everybody, we're here at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. I'm joined here today with the CEO of Silver Tigre Metals, Glenn Jessome. Absolute pleasure.
Dan, always great to see you, my friend.
Thanks for doing this, man.
Yes, sir.
You're a guy from Nova Scotia.
Absolutely.
How did you end up in mining?
Well, you know what? It's a long, little bit of a history on that. So I went to school in Nova Scotia. I ended up doing a law and an MBA degree at Dalhousie, and then I decided for some reason not only was I going to be a business lawyer, but let's just try to be a securities lawyer in one of the tiniest capital markets in all of Canada. I don't think we had one back then as far as a securities lawyer, but boy, did it ever go well. Did some deals. I really started listing some companies on the TSX. They were an amazing partner. I joined their National Advisory Committee, the first guy out of Atlantic Canada. Boy, that's 15 years ago, and started to become a guy in Atlantic to build public companies, and then really met a business partner of mine, Brad Langell, and Brad has Go Gold. If you look at his company, incredible. I helped him a lot with that, helped build that company, and then we decided we'd build Silver Tigre. So there's the story. Cape Breton boy, securities lawyer, mining executive in Mexico, but that's how it all happened.
Close to Antigonish too, right?
Antigonish, there you go. St. FX was my first degree. And what a swing from a science degree. It's my history of school. I don't know how we get into this. All the way to law and an MBA degree at Dalhousie. And here we are today at VRIC in Vancouver, talking about a great mine we're going to build at El Tigre in Mexico.
Well, let's focus.
Funny world.
It moves so quickly too. Yeah. Let's talk about this.
Yes, sir.
Silver, right? The demand is usually coming from coins, jewelry. We're seeing more and more into solar, right? So why do you feel like right now all of a sudden demand is just increasing the way it is for all these the industrial supply?
I mean, I'm on this panel today at 3:40, so you're going to hear a lot more about that here at VRIC on the silver panel. But I mean, it's just fact. Over the last, and it happened 3-4 years ago, we would make 800 million silver equivalent ounces, and the world was a happy place. We had a nice, it fulfilled all, it was steady. And then the cliff. We hit a cliff where all of a sudden we're 2, 3, I think as much as 400 million silver equivalent ounces short. They're projecting the Silver Institute this year, we're going to be over 200 million silver equivalent ounces on the short side. But that's just the beginning, and there's two things I think people should know about. It's not, look, I could list all day demand. You know what these are. It's cars, it's solar, it's electronics, it's silver-coated ball bearings, it's a catalyst in making plastics, it's medical, it's blah, 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 blah. AI, the Internet of Things, go on and on. There's not enough. And solar really drove it. Solar went from 50 million silver equivalent ounces to this year over 200. And if you think they're slowing down and rolling out silver, you're mistaken. That is going to go exponential. So not enough. But here's, as a miner, what I look at. Forget all those fancy numbers from silver institutes and the talking heads who talk about silver. Next year, there's 51, right today there are 51 million silver mines in the world.
Okay.
In 2 years, it's going to be 44. By 2028, it's going to be down to 33. Because we're always mining ourselves out of business. Right. So if you're a guy who can put a substantial silver mine in production and, become 45 or 34 on that list, it's a good time to be a silver miner.
Exactly, and you're in the right business at the end of the day.
Right business at the end of the day.
Why Mexico? What caught your attention, man?
So, I told you already, some things are through serendipity. I started doing business with this group that I've been so fortunate to be a part of for the last couple of decades. And why Mexico? 25% of the silver in the world is made in Mexico. If you want to mine silver, you probably want to go look at Mexico. Yep. But also its track record. About Mexico, and it's also about focus on one jurisdiction. Our group has only been in Mexico for that 28 years. We've been asked to go everywhere because we've had a great track record. During that period of time, this group has built 3 large silver mines. 2 of them subsequently sold to majors. After that, developed 2 other projects that basically we permitted, never got to build. They were sold to majors, and you know about the other companies we have in the business now. I mean, Go Gold is a wonderful company. If you haven't looked, looked at that company. You should, doing wonderful things in Mexico, and of course Silver Tiger. So we're not going anywhere else. We're locked and loaded, and I'll finish my career as a silver miner in Mexico.
Home base right there.
That's
right?
it.
The Mexican government recently came out. They're proposing a special tax, right? I think it's a duty tax of some sort. It's going up from 7.5 to 8.5. That's obviously impacting production. You guys seem to be pretty confident of that, but in terms of being able to potential any risks that are associated to how the government is going to implement new policy, Mexico just had an election. How does that affect you guys? How does that affect Silver Tiger going forward?
I'm going to tell people to go look at something. Go to my website and go under investors and look at CEO interviews. And a year before Claudia Sheinbaum became the president, and a wonderful thing, our first female president, I was touting how smart she was, and I was touting that I thought, would use the economic power of Mexico, their location, to build a top 10 world economy by taking foreign investment, including foreign investment, into the mining sector. That was 6 months to a year before she was elected. She gave a speech last weekend where she rolled out Mexico 2030. One of her first statements was, I am going to turn Mexico into a top 10 economy in the world, and I'm going to do it by taking foreign investment that's good for Mexico, that grows Mexico, including in the mining industry. Look, she is a capital. We think she's pro-business, she's pro-mining. Her government is pro-business and pro-mining. Everything that we've interacted with her, she's only been there since October. We think that there's a renaissance coming for mining Mexico. We think permits are imminent for everyone. We'll see how that goes. And I like the fact that if they want to make money, because everybody said they're getting rid of mining. I thought it was great when they put it up by 1 percentage point, because you would think that if they're going to increase the amount they're going to tax you, they may want to increase the amount they can tax.
Right.
Just logic, wouldn't it?
Numbers right there too. Your pre-feasibility study, I think your base case, and this is the most important thing that you guys had put out last year. The base case, I think, was the floor was $26 an ounce US silver.
And 2150 gold.
And 2150 gold. And then silver climbed to about 2850, if I'm not mistaken. We had a nice little spike. It came back down. We know how volatile silver is. But, what do you feel like's the floor in silver right now for you to actually look back at your pre-fees?
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now that right now, I mean, I don't predict prices. But I'm going to tell you, as miners, the prices we have today, I didn't ever think I'd see them in my career. They're incredible. Yeah, they're incredible. We used to mine gold at $250, this group, and silver in the single digits. And now you're at $2,732. It's a license to print money. Yeah. And at those spot prices, the PFS for the open pit, and what you're going to see when we put the PEA out in April for the underground.
Mark that down, by the way.
You can't, put that down. Put that in the April. I'm going to tell you right now that it doesn't have to go up. But if you look at the sensitivity table we have, we can go down to well below the study price and still be making lots of money. But I like where it is today. I think that you're going to see, if it stays right there, I'm fine. If it goes down a lot, I'm fine. And then I'm going to get on this silver panel today, and I'm going to be very cheered up, because all these talking people who are so much smarter than me on the silver price, they're going to talk about $50 and $75.
Just like
I'm going to ask somebody to put that in my sensitivity table. Yeah. I'll make, it would be so much money, I won't even know what I'm going to do with it all.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But the price is fine for today. I love it. It doesn't have to go anywhere.
It's perfect for you.
Perfect.
Good. Full disclaimer, I bought stock last year, so
wonderful.
I'm a happy shareholder.
Wonderful.
Obviously looking forward to next year, or this year, I should say.
Absolutely.
For the generalist investor, where are you guys at on the Lasanne curve right now? How would you describe that?
I'm going to tell you, if we've got time, I'm going to tell you two things I've seen, okay? On the Lasanne curve, and if you want to go draw that Lasanne curve up, down, and up, go look at our stock price, and we are like, it's like completely on it. Yeah. We made our discovery, and we started drilling off that high-grade silver. We went to $250 million market cap. I had no MRE. I had no PFS, but I knew what was coming. I'm going to start talking about economic tests, and it's just like the ski hill or get your snowboard on and you're going right to the bottom. We went right to the bottom, but we went further because sentiment in Mexico, because of the previous administration, took us lower. So we went right down where we are now. And now, when we start building, we're going to rocket up that other side, and I think we're going to go higher because we're going to also have the sentiment of a positive experience with respect to foreign investment. We're a foreign investor in Mexico. That's what I will say. Now, I'm going to throw something else on this, and I don't know if a lot of the people and juniors are going to like what I'm going to say. I've seen a fundamental change in the market over the last 3 or 4 years.
Talk to us about that.
Forgetting the Lasanne curve, but I think it's going to even drive me further up that Lasanne curve. We used to have the goalposts. You had your explorers and developers here, and that was a value proposition. And when the price of the metal would move, they would go up, and if they would go down. And then they haven't done anything. We're at $2,700 gold almost and $32 silver. They should all be at all-time highs. It's not happened. So that goalpost has gone way on a devaluation side. Okay.
Do you feel like that's because of the liquidity though that's missing in the space?
I have no idea. Maybe there's all kinds of things. I'm just telling you that's happened, and it's happened, and it ain't changing. It's not changing. And people say we need higher prices. No. 2,700, 32 all-time highs should be there. We're right there. We're in that. That's fine because I raised $100 million during AMLO and bought deal financings to get ourselves to the point that we're developed, we're ready to build. Now, the other goalpost was the producer, the gap. So devalued. This goalpost has moved all the way over here.
Okay.
Because companies that are doing, look at my peers in Mexico. Eric Fear was just here talking to me. We had a great gab. It's so good to see him. Silvercrest, 10 million ounces, 5-6 years left. 2 billion core bottom.
Right.
40%, half of Gatos, which will be our production profile almost. 40% of Silvercrest were given up for half of Gatos. Orla, look at their numbers, multi-billion-dollar market cap. My good friend Benoit at Aya, he's going to produce 7 million, which is a fantastic Bomandine, but some beautiful, over 2 billion. So that's gone over here. Why am I excited about that? That's a big delta. The alpha on that for me, from building to becoming the same production profile as those companies is very exciting. And that's the next 18 months. So that is something that we've seen. And really, did we plan it that way? We are a first drill hole, one project, drill it, develop it, build it. The reward for that guy who, it's 8 years later, got to be that developer that's now going to go to that production phase. The Lasanne, I don't know if I'll be able to hold on in the Lasanne curve. I better get a helmet.
I mean, that's one of those things too, right? It's a totally different market right now.
It's changed. Something's changed.
Exactly. I have a bias. I think it's the liquidity that's kind of lacking.
That's right. And there's all kinds of reasons. People say this and that, but I don't need to get into that. It's changed.
Exactly. And you guys are well positioned for
Absolutely.
that. So, last thing, I mean, we got a lot of investors watching. They want to know specifically, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. We're sitting down. We're going to warm up that with a barbecue here shortly. Why should investors put Silver Tiger on their watch list, or at least put some in their portfolio right now?
There's two reasons, okay? You got short term and you got long term. We've spent 8 years and $120 million, $130 million to get from a first drill hole to a PFS, which is incredible. Go look at it on our website. Look at what money this, for an $86 million capex, this thing makes. $500 million over 10 years. Underground is drilled. PEA coming first half of this year, hopefully as soon as April. It's de-risked. That's number one. There's a trade in the short term. If I'm right, and I've been right so far, go back and look at all the things I've been saying for the last 2 years, then the re-rating on Mexico is coming. When those first permits for Canadian companies get issued, all of these companies are re-rating. Is it a double? I think so.
Okay.
And I think that it could be. That's a re-rating in the short term that's going to happen. And I just explained why you want to own our stock. We are that developer that is going to build. We're going to be able to get that money, and then that vector, or whatever you want to call it, from there, delta, that's the right word you investment guys use, that delta from that goalpost where we're devalued to my peers that are way way over here, multi-billion-dollar companies. I'm not saying that's where we're going to be, but we have the same production profile as we build this and the underground by 2027. You want to stay around till then, you should do real well.
Right place, right time. Glenn, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks
Thank
so much
you.
for doing
Always,
this, man.
Dan, but anytime.
This is a man who walks the walk. That's all I
Thank
know.
you. Appreciate
You can find
that.
Silver Tiger on the TSXV. Ticker is SLVR, and on the OTCQX, SLVTF.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.